Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus Natural Gas Storage Report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. And let's get started. There is a report coming out right now, wholesale futures, wholesale inventories, retail inventories. I'm just throwing gold up for a moment. 10 seconds just to see if there's any response. Just watching wholesale inventory. It's revised data. This is not, there is a wholesale inventory, retail inventory report that does move the markets pretty well. This is not the one, even though it's got a result. There's like two or three different wholesale inventory reports. We've never traded it, so I'm just curious if there was any action on it. Anyway, we're here for natural gas this morning, so that's what we're going to spend our time on. But we're always looking at other things. It's just the way this works. So natural gas, I want to welcome everyone before we get started. Hello on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. And natural gas is just a problem child in many ways. Natural gas is a problem child, but it looks to me like the report has been trading pretty well. So it's not been in a long time a report that we normally trade as one of our regular live reports. So a lot of you know us. We are no different than anyone else. We try to choose the best of the best reports to trade. Sometimes we trade extra reports to do the testing on them, to check our new setups, just to see how the setup is working. So it's not always so simple for our trading. We definitely trade differently than many of our members do. And it's just because, I mean, it's expected that that would be the case. But at the moment, I want to show you the daily market mover, the DMM, the trade report on natural gas. It's showing very, very good trading on natural gas these days. What's interesting about natural gas is in January, the previous year, 2023, natural gas actually traded very, very well. And we just weren't trading it. It just didn't really look at it probably quite as closely as maybe we should have. You know, there's a lot of reports. We don't always do a deep dive. You can't do a deep dive on every single event because there's too many events. But I think that with natural gas last year, it really had a great trading year. And we truly missed it. I mean, that's the honest, being honest. We missed it. And we decided, okay, look, let's start trading it at the beginning of the new year. And at the beginning of the new year, natural gas started to trade poorly. It didn't trade well. And we tried to trade it for a while live and just didn't have the results that we wanted. So we went back to, just testing it and sometimes trading after the news. Because natural gas sometimes can be a good trade after the news is released. Today they're expecting a 22 billion build. So if there's a bigger build or a drawdown, you can get a nice response out of natural gas. I will say that right now, natural gas started selling off before we got here. Natural gas, if you look at the daily chart, it's really not looking for highs, that's for sure. It's it's selling, selling, selling. Natural gas is selling. It went through a little period where we thought it was back. It actually got over $3 and then it just gave it up again. So right now, you just gotta say that natural gas is bearish again. If you look at, 15-minute chart on today it's certainly bearish. It made a new high overnight and then it hasn't looked back on the downside. Now, natural gas is not in our live trades. Um, I'm kind of waiting for a reset on it. So, what do I mean by a reset? I don't like to start a new event, trading a new event live until it has a stop. I call a stop a reset. In other words, I want one bad trade. That's a reset. Natural gas is trading well. That's a good time, in my opinion, to start trading it. I guess most of the time I'm not superstitious anymore in the sense that if an event has a lot of winning trades, like natural gas does, and we'll look at a couple of videos, there's really no reason why you shouldn't start trading it today. You've had 6 winners in a row. I'm a little bit superstitious in that I like to start it after that winning streak gets broken and then start for a new one. Because there's really no reason to think natural gas is going to change the way it's trading starting this week or next week, right? If it has a stop. So it seems like to me it's a good time to start. But let's look at a few videos. August 1st. There's the brackets and a big burst up. Natural gas had a significant drawdown. In other words, they were expecting a 310 build and it was a 180. So it's a build, but the price acted like it was a drawdown because the build was much less than expected. So that behaves like a drawdown. That is how it behaves. Now, if you could have gotten in, you couldn't have gotten in. It was risky to take a reversal there because that's a huge number. Natural gas will sometimes respond to 2 billion cubic feet of a difference. So that's 180 cubic feet, right? 180 billion cubic feet compared to 310. What I'm saying is sometimes 312 will give you a good response in natural gas. So that was monstrous. That was a monstrous difference. Interestingly, it's still reversed. So that's what's fascinating. I probably would not have taken a reversal there, but it's still reversed. Natural gas still pushing down. You want to be careful today because it's very negative. It's down 80 ticks from the 6 p.m. open. So yeah, it's had a lot of wins in a row, but you have a volatile market. Let's look at July. Everybody has systems by which they decide to do things, whether you're going to trade a new event, when you're going to start trading it, what your rules are. There's no set rule that says, okay, now is the day. You have to think about the risk. You have to think about how's it behaving. There's a million things you think about. This was 2 weeks ago. Another gigantic move, another gigantic offset, huge build, push the price down. All right. No surprise in the direction. Natural gas tends to be good about following the direction of the news. And again, that was a tougher reversal, right? That was a tougher reversal. Let's look at the 18th. July 18th, they were expecting, looks like a 279-ish build. Too many webcams can make you crazy. And it was another big drawdown. It does hit the first target, and it should hit the second target with that drawdown. I definitely trailed too close. Definitely trailed too close. But had a profit on target one and like 1.25. But if you were patient, it should push up because very big, getting very big offsets in natural gas. So what does that mean? It means that they're expecting a certain result and we're getting a very big difference from that result. Again, I want to thank everyone that's watching us on the tube, on YouTube. Hit the like button and hit the notification bell so you know the next time we're streaming. This is our last stream of the week at the moment. So, what do you do? What are you going to do with natural gas? A lot of people probably will trade it. The DMM is good setups for natural gas. Um, if it continues bursting the way it's bursting, we might think about increasing the targets. You do have to realize that there is slippage at times on natural gas. And I think this last one we traded in our prop account. And I'm happy to say that this morning, one member has funded 3 prop accounts trading with our system. And people had an awesome jobs report trade this morning. Quite the move. Very surprising in terms of the size of that move. So it looks like 3 weeks ago, we traded in our Muleox account. I'm just looking, just out of curiosity, to see the level of, if I can tell how much slippage there was. We've had these very outsized moves in natural gas. The moves have been big. So you could see it's filled halfway up the candle. All right. That's reasonably normal for natural gas. And that means there's certainly a little bit of slippage at a minimum to get filled halfway up the candle. You always want to be filled as low down on the candle as possible for a long and as high up on the candle as possible for a short, right? All right, so maybe natural gas has found a home somewhere around the S1. The setup is pretty straight ahead. It's a breakout trade. It gets triggered at 10:29:58. It's a 10:30 event. The bracket is 6. The bracket's small. And then our targets, we have position size 1 is a 1, position size 2 is a 1. That just means that we have one contract for each position. We have two positions, one contract for each. Profit target 1 is 10 ticks and profit target 2 is 20. The stop is 12. And target 1 stop move. If that first target gets hit, I would move my stop to break even -4 on natural gas. I don't think I've saved a template on natural gas in a long time. I label it NG breakout, BRK, and then apply. When you hit apply, it puts it up on the control panel on NinjaTrader. And then if we put the time at 0, apply it and okay it, we can test our brackets when we enable it. And there's our brackets. You can see the volatility in natural gas. Got some volatility here. Get our topmost clock in the right place. Just showing you the brackets one more time. So it looks like we should be able to handle that particular bracket. Ravi, you don't know that for sure yet. We're starting to see a trend where maybe the moves are bigger. Um, I don't think if you look at the numbers, they're not there yet, to be honest. 20 and 6 on the bracket. We're still 39, 32, 54, 27, 27. I still think the targets right now are appropriate, but we're keeping an eye on it. I mean, look, you can always set a higher second target, and you are not hardly ever, you're not harming a trade by doing that. It just means you've got to manage the trade more carefully, that you may not hit the target and you might have to manage your way out of it. But on the other side of the coin, you may have a possibility of getting more profit. So it's never stupid or risky to use bigger targets. The only time you want to be conservative, or one of the times you want to be more conservative on targets, is when you test a report and it has a real propensity for reversing quickly, and you really can risk a trade by using targets that are too big because the particular event reverses so regularly and so quickly. Now, by using the target 1 stop move, that's one reason why I like the target 1 stop move. It allows you to use that bigger target on target 2 if you want to. And if you get that quick reversal, you still get to possibly protect your target. All right, so putting the time back to 10:29:58, and then targets using the DMM targets right on the money. Stop is 12, 1029.58, bracket is 6. Pretty straight ahead. But like I said, I'm not live yet on natural gas. I'm definitely thinking about it. I'm just waiting for the moment when we want to do it. I think natural gas is trading well enough to trade it live, it looks like. And naturally, the minute I say that, natural gas will go insane like it did in 2021. Look at this video. This is why there's always a little part in my gut that says, be careful with natural gas because can it do this again? I mean, I really don't think it's going to, but look at there's like 6 whipsaws in a nanosecond. You can't even count them. It was the most unsafe trade I ever saw in my whole life. But you got to go back to 2021 now to see that kind of craziness in natural gas. Look at the price, it was over $5. We actually traded that live and had a normal stop, which is a fantastic miracle because that was one of the craziest moves I think we've ever seen on natural gas. But again, I'm not trying to scare people. That's very rare. Hasn't happened since 2021. It's just when I first got here, and I've told this story 1,000 times, natural gas was trading that volatile on a regular basis. I mean, not so much that we had 6 whipsaws every day, but natural gas would try to fill you on both sides of the trade more often than not. I was hiring programmers to write me software. I was a TradeStation user back then. I didn't know about 10, we weren't 10-minute trades then. I hadn't found the company and I was trading news on my own. And natural gas is how I got involved in all this because I just thought there was something going on there. I didn't know what it was. Do you, Mrs. Jones? Is it Mr. Jones? Ask Dylan. Anyway, setting up a second reversal continuation, natural gas looking for a profit of 15 ticks with a stop of 18 ticks, one position, target of 15, stop of 18, reversal continuation. If maybe there will be an opportunity, depending on the news, and I'll do that in our Buell Knox. When you enable a reversal continuation trade, you get your buttons, instant long, instant short. Remember, for folks on the internet watching, our software is like an ATM, automated trade manager. Just that you don't have to learn a language, you just have to plug numbers into the software, plug the values in. Let's look at one more natural gas trade. Let's go back to June, not on the DMM. Now, look, you go back to a previous, much earlier DMMs. This is good. This is a nice snapshot. A snapshot, January, February, natural gas was a 50-50. Okay. You had 3 stops, 3 winners. So I love these snapshots. This was a February event. Now we have the June DMM and natural gas trading well. May, June, 4 out of 6. A little bit, some starting to get some bigger moves. We're starting to get some bigger moves. Okay. This was June 21st. Just curious. June 6th. We had a 50-50 natural gas, June 6th. So good, what do you call them? Spotlights It's like a spot check in time where you get to look at certain time periods and you can see how an instrument is trading. So this was June 21st. Let's look at this one. This looks like it was whippy. No, not as bad as I first thought. So it hits the first target, just missed target two by a couple of ticks. It wasn't live, so remember, there's no slippage in sim to speak of when you compare it to live. So that would have hit the first target, it looks like to me, and then stopped, and then changed direction. That's why I like on natural gas the break even stop move, right? That break even stop move, I like that. I was taught when I learned to trade futures, if you hit your first target, I was taught don't let it become a loser if you have a winner. Hitting target one is a winning trade. If your stop is not as big as your target one, which is not common, then you could leave your stop alone, right? We talk about a lot of the same issues over and over because a lot of the same issues are important. Stop management is one of the most important issues that you deal with when trading. Whether you're trading a system, whether you're trading your own discretionary trades, what you do at your stop is critical. It's a good thing. No wonder I thought my chart looked kind of bizarre. I was on a 15-minute chart. So let's check our brackets one more time. Big difference in what's going on. Glad I caught that. Big pullback and then a big reversal, a retrace now in natural gas. Made a new low and it's come off that low, significantly. All right, so we have a couple of minutes, not long. Let's say there is a build and natural gas goes to the VWAP. I like the short side because it's such a downward trend today. Look, maybe it just ended. You don't know. It's still got a relatively strong downward trend today. My gut is I'd like to short the VWAP or the PP if we were to get there. PP probably better, right? Two magnets. VWAP and PP are both magnets. That's a pretty bad color for the PP. You can't see it. Black is better. Okay. Just watching patiently now. One thing about trading the way we do, if you have a great winning trade, you only sometimes get a few minutes to enjoy it because before you know it, there's another trade right on its heels. So we don't always get to revel in our great trades. But also, that's why the smart thing to do as we say over and over and over, trade the best of the best and trade the reports you like to trade. If you don't like a certain instrument because you're just not comfortable trading it, you don't have to trade it. There's so many events. I mean, they never end. Event after event after event. Wait do you see next week? Next week's another pretty busy week. I've done the schedule. There's some really good trades next week, too. 10 seconds. Brackets will show up. Big burst up. Now, I didn't touch the stop, and it just goes to show if you touch the stop, you could have protected more profit. It also goes to show why, and I'm watching, I'm turning off the breakout again. Now, what's interesting is that was a tiny offset, tiny, a billion cubic feet different. They expected a build of 22, tiny build less 21 billion cubic feet. Should that have made the price burst so high? Probably not, but it did anyway. And the question is a reversal in the cards here? Is the reversal now the minute it's too late already. It's going to hit the low. It looks like it's going to hit the low. But now I'm chasing it. Now I'm chasing it because you had a big burst up also. So now I'll watch it. I'll watch it. But the VWAP, the real place, if you're going to do the reversals, we've talked about this over and over. It's very hard to trade the breakout and the reversal at the same time on an instrument that's as fast as natural gas. Because look, you wanted to get in on the exploding candle reversal, meaning you could have probably gotten in around 65 and it got down to about 52. But for whatever the reason, natural gas at this moment, initially I thought the news was going to push it down to the low, but it looks like the opposite is taking place. So I would be careful because we're in a tight range between the high and the low today, right? Which probably is true all the time with natural gas because of the price. Makes it harder to do these secondary trades. But at the moment, it does appear that natural gas is now looking for the upper move. And then, of course, the second I say it, it's going to reverse and make a new low. Just be careful because it doesn't seem clear which direction to go at the moment. And the news, even though it's 1 billion cubic feet different than expected, which can cause a move, and it did cause a very big move, it's still not nearly as impactful an event in the news offset as we've been seeing week after week after week, where we've been seeing 50, 60, 70 billion cubic feet differences, which gives you a little bit more stability in that after the news move. Okay? Did anyone trade that? Anybody want to make a report? What happened to you on natural gas? Not one person has said a word in this room since we got here, other than Ravi saying hello and asking one question. Is everybody out there? Can you hear me? Steve K. Typically, the initial move is usually the wrong move. Reversal trades are solid. I don't agree that the initial move is the wrong move typically. Sometimes, but not typically. But I do agree 100% reversals are solid. It also depends on the news result. as well. But I would not say typically the first move is wrong. That's definitely not true. Definitely not true. But there are lots of reversals. That is definite. And this was, without a question, a target one trade. Even though right now it looks great, I didn't move my stop and it still got stopped. But our stop is small. If our targets get increased, then we do have to consider maybe increasing the stop. We might have to think about increasing the setup in general. Now, the PP is does seem to be, let's see if it holds the price in check or if natural gas, looks to me like natural gas does want the high. If it was a bigger drawdown, I might be interested in the magnet trade right now. If the drawdown was like 18 or 15, then I think it would absolutely push to the high. It still looks like it's going to go there. If it breaks the PP, it'll probably get there. I wish natural gas had a micro that had volume. There is a new micro on natural gas. It has no volume and no liquidity. MNG. Let me type it in properly. See how a lot of the candles aren't fully formed? It's looking a tiny bit better. It's looking a tiny bit better, but I do prefer 30-second chart and it'll look a lot worse on the 30-second chart. See, there's more unformed candles. That often means there's just not a lot of volume yet. Looks like it's going to make the magnet. So the question is, do you want to risk, $200 roughly for a test of the high? That's what the risk is. It was, I believe, a 20 tick stop. So that's what you have to decide if you want to do it. Now, you notice the blinking of the squeeze could represent a change in momentum. So you want to be careful because the news was not a big enough offset. And that's why I'm not that interested. I like a magnet to just go, 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 go. And even on the report, natural gas has been up and down. It went up, pulled back. There's some red candles, green candles. It has struggled to go straight up. It's gone up, but it hasn't been what I want as a magnet. And look, we didn't do it. It didn't really break the PP, and maybe we were right. What kept me out was the news result because natural gas is pretty good about following the news after the news. Oil is not as good, is not as good. Um, yeah, Steve, now I'm not saying you're wrong. Don't, take it personally, certainly. All I'm saying is I agree with you. Number one, natural gas, absolutely lots of reversals, particularly in the first 5 minutes after the news. What I'm saying is I do feel pretty strongly that the first candle is not necessarily is not always going to get reversed. It doesn't always get reversed right away. I don't think it's initially the wrong direction. I think more often it's the right direction because it's going that way because of the news result. Magnets. So we have a trade set up called the magnet trade. Strong magnets are important levels of support and resistance. So for instance, a VWAP is a definite magnet. A high of day is a definite magnet. A low of day, S1 is a magnet. S3, PP is a good magnet. So we have trade setups and we have a software strategy that you could set up a magnet trade when we think the magnet's going to be tested. We have a strategy that lets us set it up automatic. So it's semi-automatic. But the whole concept is based on what is a magnet, and a magnet is important levels of support and resistance, really. And you can design your own trades with our magnet strategy. It has a custom magnet feature because lots of people use indicators, special indicators that have levels that get tested. And, just I always use the example of Fibonacci's. Fibonacci levels could be considered magnets, some of them. So we have a software feature that can trade around magnets. Yeah, MNG is not, it just doesn't have volume. I mean, if you look at the market on MNG, it's only 2,000, right? That's barely tradable. Natural gas, the regular instrument, that can definitely lead 2,000 contracts, can lead to liquidity problems, bad fills, all sorts of problems. No, it's the opposite, Steve. A magnet trade is a trade in the direction of the magnet. It's not a counter trade. This magnet trade. So the way to think about it is the magnet, the target for the magnet trade is actually the level that we call the magnet. So the idea is very simple, though. You're just going to get in before you get to the magnet. So the magnet is the high of the day. So you could set up the trade so that it triggers at 2.090, 10 ticks away. It would be a good place to create a magnet trade on natural gas if it's heading up. If you believe it's going to trend up, and very often a news event will be the trigger that helps you to determine if you want to do a magnet trade. So for instance, if you don't want to risk the money, we could put it in sim. Here's the strategy, magnet trade. So we have a built-in high of day, low of day strategy. We have a proximity to the high or the low, and I'm going to choose 7%, and I'm going to use a 15 tick target because we're pretty close. And let's say we use a 20 tick stop. Let's say we're going to risk 200 to make 150, which actually on a natural gas trade, not that terrible. And so if you enable our magnet trade, nothing happens. It's not going to trigger. We could put it in auto mode, but by hovering over the magnet button, it shows me that my entry is 95. It's too close. I need it to be further away. That the trade's almost over by then. So I would do probably a 10% at least proximity. Even that might not be far away, but just for testing here, 93. So if I put it in auto mode by clicking the magnet button, the trade will trigger if we get to 2093. It looks like it's going to work this morning now. It's starting to get some strength. I probably have enough time to, nope, I'm going to leave it where it is. I would like to be entering right now. New feature of the next version, enter now button. Enter the magnet trade, like we have the range trade enter now. That'll be a brand new feature. If I had chosen a little bit further away in the proximity, I could have gotten filled sooner. Make the proximity 15%. Now 89 is my fill. That's my magnet. If I hover, I can see it. It's right about here. Is risk. It's really, see how it's like it's pushing up, pushing down, pushing up, pushing down. I love when it's just a steady shot. And like I said, the news result, not quite strong of an offset, not as big of an offset as I would like to see to get that steady, steady, steady push. But we're just testing, so let's just let it run. And you can not leave it on auto, you can put it on manual so that if it gets to your level, you could press the button if you want to get in. They're not really longer term trades. They can be. A magnet trade could be triggered by news. It could be triggered by a market open. Those are usually quick. A magnet trade could be a set and forget, which could be a long trade. So, for instance, if you're in a market that you're absolutely convinced it's going to go up and test a new high, you could just create a magnet trade, put it on auto by pressing the button, and go do something else. And that's another feature I'm going to add next version, audio alert, so that if you do that, we'll get an audio alert that the magnet needs attention. So right now we're just watching. I believe there will be a magnet trade. So let's watch it for a second. We have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to go. We're always learning something. I love it. So for instance, this is a longer term trade because it's in auto, right? If we get to 89, our trade's going to trigger. If it's done going up, no harm. You just turn it off by unpressing the button. If you feel the move is completely over, I'll watch for a couple more minutes. Let's see. It's kind of looking like it's run out of gas. 30-second chart. We like the squeeze to help us with momentum. We don't use a lot of indicators in our trading. Now, it's a good question. Are magnet trades counter trades when a level is hit? You know the truth about new highs. The tricky part, new highs are absolutely great reversal trades, but the hardest thing about a new high is you never know when it's done making a new high, and that's where the risk comes in. You could have a market that makes a new high and immediately reverses, and you have a great trade to take the reversal. Yesterday, I forget what it was oil, I believe, when we got to the trade room for the oil report, it had made new high after new high after new high all morning long. If you had traded a reversal on new highs on oil yesterday, it would have handed your head to you. Now, I do think that happened to be on a pretty long time frame chart, long term meaning 15 minutes. So sometimes sometimes you can get, I'm just getting rid of spam on my phone. That's unbelievable. I can't believe some of the things people click. Um, Sometimes the new high disaster where it just makes new high after new high after new high can just kill you. So I like the magnet because I like trading for the test of the high, and then I'm kind of done once it's tested. Okay, we got our fill. I would bring my order down below the high. It automatically entered, and I think there's a good opportunity it'll test that high. If it doesn't, it would be a loser. Now, the PP is a good stop, and so is the VWAP. The decision that you make is what kind of risk do you want to take? Trading with your stop below the VWAP is quite a lot of risk on natural gas. It's 31 ticks. I think I think in this case, I actually prefer the PP stop because I think if you get down to that VWAP and under it, this trade is long over, because it hasn't been down there in quite a while in terms of minutes. You know what I mean? I look, it's all the amount of risk you want to take. 31, 32 ticks is a lot of risk. In the scheme of things, maybe it isn't, but you understand. I mean, you have to decide, is $300 what you want to risk on an event, on one trade? With natural gas, that's not unreasonable. Now, to me, a great magnet trade would have hit the target already. This is struggling, right? It's struggling to go up. It's not going up at a good clip. We do have our squeeze is on our side, but price is very quiet. It's very quiet. It's not it's not the kind of price movement that I like for the magnet. Now, it should, as it gets closer, here we go, it should get pulled. It should get pulled, right? It missed it by it's one tick away. Now, you can also protect your trade. Now you can't lose money. Bingo, magnet. Magnet hit. That's a magnet trade. Okay? All right. Thanks, everyone on YouTube. Hit the like button. Um, hit the notification bell. Everybody in the room, I'll see everybody back here for the 30-year bond auction at 12:30. Um, I hope everybody enjoyed this trade room. So thanks, everybody, and I'll see you all later. Okie doke. Closing down the stream, closing down the room. See